Coach Simmons, Matt Bersano made 15 saves this weekend. Have you noticed maturation since the beginning of the season from him?
Yeah, Matt's certainly matured because he's logged in the minutes, and so when you're coming in the beginning of the season, not playing a collegiate match, and then you log in all the minutes he's logged in, he's gonna come of age, and it's been nice to watch him mature and make plays. There's a very good confidence that the players, in particular the back four, have in Matt, and but there's some things Matt will need to clean up, and we're on task and he's on task to make sure that he can kind of clean up some of the parts of his game that you really don't see when you're just training. You really see when it's during match time, and so in the bigger picture, it's good to have him in those match moments so that he can continue to grow and cultivate as a goalkeeper.
Now, for those of us who haven't played soccer at this level, can you talk about the added level of difficulty in creating and finishing plays when there is standing water on the field like there was yesterday?
Well, it's hard to score in soccer to begin with. It's by nature of the sport. It's not a lot of goals that are going to occur, and so goals come rare. As far as if you look at, okay, you're playing a 90-minute match, and it's very, very common to have a 1-goal game or a 0-0 game. And so when you add the elements of rain or snow, whatever the case might be, that might hold the ball up or manipulate the ball so that attacking players can't execute, well, that's just another thing that really complicates how I would try to attack. And so I think any coach is going to look at whatever conditions are at hand and make the adjustments. Especially when you're talking being in the Pac-12, one of the great things about this conference, and you can see it in our media with the Pac-12, that it's so diverse, and you can go from sunny beaches to the Cascades to the desert to rainforest to snow, and we face it. We face all of it, and so when our kids go into games and maybe it's a situation where it is standing water, we have to make sure that we adjust so that we can still create chances on goal.
More specifically with that, would it help the defense more to be able to keep up with an offensive team, or does the offense still have the advantage because they know where they're going?
Yeah, I think when the conditions get sloppy, whether it's going to be rain or the field gets slick or it's snow, it really depends on where the ball is at. You can kind of compare it to maybe football, where field position becomes a big deal. So if the ball is going to be in a team's attacking half, it might be difficult for a team to execute plays and be precise because precision has gone out of the window. But if the play is generally in that area, the defenders still have to deal with it. Sometimes it's very, very difficult to clear a ball if there's field conditions that make the ball heavy or slick or whatnot. And oftentimes you get situations where you can't clear a ball, it comes off a person's shin, it lays right in front of an attacking player, and bang, it's a goal. So I think it depends on the field position, but all in all, it probably affects the precision of a team trying to attack because those have more moving parts. With defending, you don't have to worry about the ball until it's time to make a tackle or clear the ball. So when it's all said and done, you want to try to have the field position in your attacking half in those situations. But even getting to the attacking half sometimes is quite tricky.
With some of the regular starters unavailable, how do you feel that the guys stepped in their place?
I think the guys that stepped in this weekend were tremendous. You want the depth of guys that can hit the ground running if called upon, and then a lot of times it's kind of hard when you're one of the guys that maybe haven't got as many minutes. But in sports, especially our sport and how we play the Friday-Sunday affairs in the Pac, you never know. And so you got a couple of guys that go down, they get injured. You got to be able to hit the ground running. I think that's a sense of professionalism, to be honest with you. And a lot of times in college, you're talking about 18, 19-year-old guys that haven't had to do that before. Most of these guys were at the top of their teams, whether it's high school or club, and played significant minutes for their high school or club. And they come here, and all of a sudden they're maybe in a reserve situation, but they're training for that moment. And that's a very, very difficult adjustment. But I think that the guys that are understanding it and getting their head around that opportunity, you see a lot of maturity in that. And you look at the sense of professionalism that's required to step in the last second. It takes a lot, and you want to be ready to step in. And when you do get your opportunity, you want to make sure you do the best you can with it, so that you can find reasons why coach can't take you off the field.
We saw a great goal yesterday with Glenn Payton's diving header. Is that something that's a personal feel to go for a header as opposed to maybe touching it with a foot, or is it taught? How does that work?
Well, on that particular goal, we were talking about it in video this morning. On that particular goal, the way the ball is crossed, Kevin Bodel had crossed the ball from the right side, and he crossed very early. When a ball is crossed, depending on the trajectory of the ball, if it's above the shoulders, so to speak, and it comes into the attacking area, then usually an attacking player is going to try to take it with his head, because it's hard to reach your foot up high and have the balance and hit it with the proper surface and the proper power and accuracy when your leg's up high. It's very, very difficult to do that. So when anything is above your shoulders, waist, it's easier to use your head because it's just one redirection. The great thing about the goal outside of the diving header that happened yesterday is that Kevin's ball had a bend to it, so it was bending in. So it started up a little higher, but by the time it arrived to Glenn, it was nosediving, looked like about a foot off the ground, and Glenn made the decision to continue to use his head as the surface that he's going to take that pass. That's a very, very difficult decision to make. When I played and was a forward, a lot of times that ball would come in, you would say, okay, it's my head, and then it would go below your waist, and then you might outthink yourself, or you'll hesitate, and you get caught with maybe going with your foot too late, going with your head, and it kind of catches you in the middle, and you don't get a good shot off. Glenn did the right thing and kind of stayed the course. And if you could see him in slow motion, he kind of follows it all the way down, and he's committed to that. And he ends up getting a very good touch on the ball from his head, and it ends up redirecting into the goal, and it is what it is. But I think that is a very, very difficult skill. I think, when I watch that, a lot of times it reminds me of a receiver that maybe has to come back. They have to come back and get the ball, and the ball is diving, and the bottom falls out, and they have to deal with it. Or if a batter's up for baseball, and all of a sudden that the ball is sinking, and that you kind of have to follow it down to get contact. It's the same thing, and those players who are able to recognize and see that and make that decision in a split second, to me, those are players that make fantastic plays. So that was a really good play by Glenn, and it was an excellent service by Kevin.
With the bye coming up and the game against Washington, do you feel that all the guys will be healthy and ready to go for that last game?
I certainly hope so. I certainly hope they're healthy. The way the schedule worked out this year with the conference rotation, we ended up getting the second year of playing 4 consecutive Friday-Sunday games. And to be quite honest with you, that takes its toll. And you have to have a lot of luck going for you if you're going to come out of that unscathed. And the fact of the matter is, in our conference, it's just it's a dogfight every single game, and you have to be at your best, and you're going to be challenged physically and mentally, especially if you're going on the road. There's the travel piece to it, and so it's been a tough last 4 weeks, and I think our guys have battled bravely for the most part, and they're looking at a couple of matches that they're very disappointed in that were giveaways. Certainly not because of anything else, but maybe some small details, because certainly we were able and talented enough to do what we need to do. But going into this, I thought that while we were super disappointed with the tie against San Diego State, there was a good competitive spirit. We're asking our guys, you got to compete first and then play, because in the conference, if you don't compete first right away, you might not be able to play. You know, the playing part might never come out, but you got to compete first and establish your ground, and that's what the guys did yesterday, and it was an honest effort, and you know, and it was actually, I thought, really good for TV, because you know, I had people call me afterwards and that was an exciting game, and that's the way it should be, and people in the stands, I think, enjoyed it outside of not getting the result. So there's a disappointment, but there's certainly not a bitter taste. There's more of a taste of, okay, we need to get ourselves recharged. You know, our guys need to make sure they keep on their classes. This is that time of year where you're just right after midterms and you're looking finals, you know, about 3-4 weeks away, and so want to make sure that those guys get some type of a semblance of normal student life, which is very, very hard for a Division I athlete. And so this bye week for us is going to be something that we're going to try to do to get the classroom right, get the bodies right, continue with the spirit, because the spirit's been very, very competitive. Get bodies back, you know. We got a guy like Roberto Farfan, and you know, we played a little bit yesterday, but you know, he's still coming off a high ankle sprain, and I feel so bad for him as a senior, because he's one of our prolific playmakers, and you know, he's been out for the last 2.5 weeks, and I feel bad for him because he wants to desperately help the team win. And then you've got other guys that are, you can tell they're kind of a little bit skeletons of themselves. So, you know, getting the team healthy and getting them fit, Chris Rumsey, our trainer, will have a lot of work to do, but I think time is going to be the key here. And you know, we'll have a good week of training, and then the folks be on Washington, which is always a big game for us, and certainly on senior day it'll be a big game for 7 guys.
Against Washington, and I ask you this only half jokingly, is have you found a flip throw-in defense? Well,
you know, every team's got to do what they got to do, and for sure that you know, Washington has been very effective in how they have you know, managed their restarts and their flip throws, and you know, it's within the rules, and it's certainly something that we're going to have to deal with. And so for us, I think it's a matter of doing our job. You know, we do our job on defensive restarts, and you know, making sure that we are clear on our assignments, and you know, when the ball does come in the mixer, we're able to clear the line so that they don't get a second and third ball. But at the end of the day, we're going to focus on what we can do and do it well, and compete as hard as we compete, and you know, especially if we compete like we did on Sunday. I think that you know, it'll be a good way for our seniors to end their career here. And you know, moving forward, I just like the way the attitude was. You know, there's disappointment, because you know, anytime you lose a game or you don't win a game, there should be disappointment, because you know, you're competing. You know, you're not here to do anything else but to compete to win. But the way they went about it is something I think that's very, very important, because when you put that into motion over time, the wins will come. They'll come more consistently. And you know, for me, I just want this team right now to be able to get healthy and continue to have their minds in the right place and do the things they can do in our last game and send those 7 seniors out properly.
Can you talk a little bit about the contributions and the effect that those seniors have had on the program as we head into the final game?
Oh, absolutely. You know, the 7 seniors, they, you know, they've got blood in the bricks here, man. You know, they're Beavers for life for sure, and those guys have contributed in very, very special ways, and they've contributed in their own ways. You know, very unique to each individual, and each of them, as all seniors, are going to be sorely missed. And you know, it goes fast. You know, I think every single one of them will tell you, like every year when senior day comes, it goes fast, and you got to, you know, capitalize on the opportunities and the moments, and because before you know it, it's over, and you get this special window that is a unique window, especially if you're talking about playing in our conference and at this university, because Oregon State's a very, very special place to have your college experience. And if you're able to do that here in the Pac-12, then you better make the most of it. And a lot of it is certainly is growth, because you know, you see the world differently when you're 17 than when you're 20, 21. And you know, when you leave a place like Oregon State, my job, I think our job here is to have an indelible mark on these kids as they go from kids to men. And I think that's very, very important for us, and then provide the experience. I think when it's all said and done, they're going to look back on all the work they've done and all the experiences they've had, and they're going to come out with a positive outlook and feel good about it. But moving forward, we want to set them up for the next chapter, and a part of it is that I want them to understand where competition lies as far as in everything they do, and that it is a part of things, and that you have to go out and work for it, and you're not going to get it handed to you, and it's not going to be easy, and it's not going to be fair. So you got to put things in order so that when you do step outside of Oregon State for the first time, you're prepared to take anything on, and that's something that we pride ourselves in doing, and we want to do that and win championships at the same time. So that'll come, but we're going to keep moving forward with that, and with these 7 seniors that are moving on, I'm absolutely positive that they will make positive contributions into what they're going to do next in their lives.